Welcome to the Made in Maine podcast, where we dive headfirst to discuss difficult topics, core principles, and the creativity behind the thriving Made in Maine community. We invite you to tune in whether you're a skeptic, on the fence, or have many years designing and creating Maine-made products. Join us as we grow together and continue to put Maine on the map with the Made in Maine podcast.
So Dan, what's going on?
Hey Matt, so it's right now it's snowing out. I always talk about the weather on the show, and it is coming down very fast right now in central Maine. And we're just today it's been a little bit of a slow week for us. Past couple of weeks have been kind of slow. But I wanted to share something with you.
All right, what's it?
So often when we run our businesses online businesses, we get good feedback.
Yep.
Sometimes we get bad feedback. Sometimes we get complaints. And I have one I wanted to share. It's a unanimous. I'll leave it unanimous.
You mean anonymous?
Yeah. What did I say? Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Unanimous decision.
I hope it's not unanimous, unless it's good.
I'll leave it anonymous. So it says. So we got a message. It says Amazon shows that this package was delivered Monday, but I haven't received it yet. And today is Wednesday. You get a lot of those? Mm-hmm. People wanting to know where the package is?
Yes, sir.
It's been 2 days and she wants to know where it is. Packages are always left on my porch, but this one isn't there. Help! !
Yep, I've gotten a few of those before.
So this lady wants her package.
Yeah.
It's been 2 days and she sounds like she's a little concerned.
Sure.
It's not where the packages are normally left.
So how did you handle it?
Well, I didn't have to handle it because 2 minutes later, she sent another message. She said, "Never mind." 3 exclamation points. I found them in my mailbox.
Yep.
Who would have thought?
I know, right?
She found the package in the mailbox.
I've had that happen a few times. I've had people who will message me and they'll say like, "This has never happened," and it's like, "Oh, the post office, delivered it to the neighbor, and their neighbor ended up bringing it over or something." And within just a couple minutes, they'll message you back and say, "Oh, I found it,"
I would say 9 out of 10 times that we get these similar types of messages, they are resolved just by, spending that little extra time looking sometimes in an area that you don't typically look. Sometimes we've had people, the carriers will deliver the package maybe on the side porch or the back porch or the garage bay door or a neighbor, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to look all around in all the areas and not freak out right away.
Yeah, that's just an inevitable consequence of running an online business that you're shipping everything through,
Yep.
Like, you're relying on that third party to get your product to the customer, and sometimes it doesn't always get there, sometimes it gets almost there.
And there's different reasons. It could have been I've seen some where they don't deliver if there's like a dog at the door and they're a little, maybe an outside dog chained up and maybe they don't feel safe. Or it could be a weather thing, like if their sidewalk's not properly shoveled or the driveway's not plowed, they don't have to deliver if it's going to put them in risk of danger, falling or whatever. So there's other instances where we've seen that happen. But I just thought that was funny that 2 minutes later, she found it in the mailbox.
Yeah. Well, that's good that she messaged you back.
Yeah. So a lot of times when dealing with that, you just have to have patience and you just kind of reply and did you check here, and don't sound condescending or anything. Like, did you check the mailbox?
No, I mean, like for me, I totally understand it. Like I've got a couple different places where sometimes UPS will put a package in one place or another, and the post office doesn't even deliver to our house. We have to go pick it up.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share that. And I got one more thing I'll share, and then we'll see how things are going on with you. So I finally got an email that I'm moving on to the second round in Greenlight, Maine.
Yeah.
So I'm a semi-finalist.
Nice.
I have been waiting for about 5 months to hear, I won round 1. It's a pitch competition for people that are listening. It's a business pitch competition from entrepreneurs from the state of Maine. And they picked a certain amount of people, and we went in under lights and camera and live recorded it for television, and I pitched in front of 3 judges. So it's a lot like Shark Tank if you've seen that show before. One of my favorite shows. It was very nerve-wracking. I practiced a lot, And, I thought I did an okay job. They obviously did some editing to make it look a little bit better. But I did win my round, which I was super grateful for. But I didn't hear anything for like 5 months.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
So, yeah. And so in a couple weeks, I will be pitching for the round 2. And then that's 13. So they've narrowed it down to 13 contestants, if you will.
Yeah.
And then after round 2, they're going to pick 3 people. And those 3 will battle it out, I believe, I want to say April or May, for $100,000.
Very cool.
So I could think of a few things that I could do with $100,000. How about you?
Yeah, me too. Not a whole lot going on with me. Just finished up a show. It was that Bangor Mall craft show I've been talking about for a while now.
Yeah.
And it went pretty well. It wasn't super crazy, wasn't super busy, but it definitely was worth the time, especially for a free show. And a little update on that show that's going to be happening again in November. They've actually decided that there's too many people applying for it. Like they had
what?
Yeah, they had like I think she said like 1,600
no
applications.
Way.
Yeah, so they've decided that they're going to charge for it, and I understand it. And I was so surprised when they weren't charging for it because there's a ton of work that's going on. In this.
I mean, someone has to get all of those applications and review them and call and email.
Yep. Yeah, Kathy Harvey is the lady who runs it, and I've mentioned her before.
Yeah,
she's
the owner of the
furniture store.
Yeah.
Furniture, mattress, and more.
Right.
And she's been doing all this work for free and
unbelievable.
Like even paying for advertisements.
Yeah. I heard it on the radio. I saw signs.
Yeah. Thousands and thousands of dollars in advertising. And, I thought it was crazy that she wasn't charging something for it, So she's going to end up charging for it. It's about $175 to do the show, which is...
Is that for both days?
That's for 2 days.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean that's totally reasonable. That's pretty much what every other show charges.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and it's proven. It's been proven with the amount of people. I actually came out and visited you.
Yep.
That weekend, and I thought there was a decent amount of people there.
Yep.
I just think as you get closer to the Christmas time, people are more ready to spend money.
Oh, certainly, yeah. One other thing that happened that was pretty cool was we actually had a listener of the podcast come to my booth. Yeah. So shout out to Derek. I'm pretty sure it was Derek. If it's not Derek, I'll be really embarrassed.
Shout out Derek. Yeah. Hopefully that's your name.
But he came over to the booth and said, "Hey, I listened to your podcast," which was really cool.
So the last thing that I've been working on is I've actually been working on redesigning my gift box. Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned that already. So just kind of working on the dimensions on it, the color scheme, and getting it like mass printed. With printing plates and a big box manufacturer. So I'm hoping to really finalize that. It's a decent amount of work to get it done. But I'm excited because I think it's going to be it's going to help me save a lot of money.
Yeah. So I mean, how much like per box do you think that changes?
So I ran some numbers, and it's probably going to save me somewhere around $3 a box.
Wow.
That's just huge. On the box cost. That's not counting the we're going to save money on shipping too.
Yeah.
Because the dimensions are going to be more fit.
Yeah.
To get me a better pricing.
Yeah.
Discount.
That's going to be huge for you. I mean.
Yeah, because even like the shipping wise goes by decreasing the height of the box by a half an inch.
Yeah.
It's going to qualify me for like almost like another $3 savings on shipping.
Wow.
So you're looking at somewhere around $5 to $7 on average that I'll be saving. But it's a lot of upfront costs. I have to buy the printing plate, the die cut, the ink, and so you're talking probably $3,000 to $5,000 upfront cost plus all the box. I have to buy large quantities, so I'll probably end up buying 1,000 boxes at once.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
that's incredible. That's huge.
But these are the steps that you need to take, and I didn't feel comfortable taking this. I approached this company 2 years ago, Matt, and we went through all the numbers and everything, and I was like, I did not at that place in time. I just wasn't ready. My business wasn't ready to acquire on all of that. All that upfront cost. And now I revisit it, and now I'm ready to do it. So that's hopefully awesome. On the next episode, when you guys come back and join us, we'll have it finalized. We'll have those new boxes.
That's incredible. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the interview.
Clap.
Pompeii Pizza has been in operation since 2013 when their mobile food truck's wood-fired oven first lit up the Bangor Maine Waterfront. 6 seasons later, Pompeii Pizza crafts their pizzas with locally sourced ingredients, and their wood-burning oven infuses every pizza with a unique flavor that sets the quality apart from the competition. In November of 2019, they opened their first brick-and-mortar location in downtown Bangor. Head on over to 98 Central Street to tantalize your taste buds with what they believe are the best pizzas in Maine. After one bite, they're sure you'll agree. So today, in the Box of Maine studios, we have the master of marvelous munchies, the king of crispy creations, the prince of pizza perfection, Will Carney.
Wow.
Thank you.
Hey, Will, thanks for going on the show. Before we jump into Will's history, let's talk about these. He brought us some goodies. We got some gift certificates to Pompeii Pizza, good for a free 10-inch pizza. We got 2 of them, and they come with some 10% off your orders. You're going to want to listen to the whole show to figure out how to get these gift certificates so you can get munching. What'd you say? Munching on some?
I said some marvelous munchies.
You could get some marvelous munchies from Pompeii Pizza. So, Will, thanks so much for coming over and doing the podcast. Glad to have you on.
All right. Okay. Whoa. There has been an eternal debate in the pizza society, right? We're going to answer that question today. We have 3 people here in the Box of Maine studios. We're going to take a democratic vote today, right? Okay. To pineapple or not to pineapple?
Okay, so our special this week, I don't know if you guys have seen it, it's the angry pineapple. So it's kind of funny that you bring that up.
Very cool.
So it's bacon, pineapple, jalapeno, and we have a hot honey sauce that has been taken off, and we're using that this week on it. So
that is like right up my
we got
alley.
Will's vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I was out. I think I was out on the pineapple, but he might have brought me back in.
Oh, so is this a unanimous vote then? Because I am absolutely for pineapple.
Well, then I guess I have to be in then.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a historic moment. Pineapple on
pineapple
pizza.
it is.
Team pineapple.
But the angry pineapple, that sounds,
pineapple.
I like it. Spice
Very
it up
cool.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the angry pineapple. Let's go back before the angry pineapple was created. Pompeii Pizza, I remember seeing it at the Bangor Waterfront.
Yep.
I was down there and I saw a food truck. I only saw one food truck down there when I was there. And I was hungry and I smelled something good. And my Italian blood started flowing because I smelled pizza.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an ordinary pizza. It was in this big metal contraption, and I think there was wood in there. Explain to me the food truck and why is it so unique?
Yeah, so we were the only food truck. We were the first ones on the waterfront. And so we kind of like to say that, we started this trend in Bangor. And so we had this mobile unit customized through, well, I didn't. My uncle and Uncle Steve and Aunt Dawn did. It was their idea. They're the ones that founded it. But they had this unit built through a custom company through Mainwood Heat in Skowhegan. And so they built this mobile kitchen, and it also has a very nice French-made oven and wood-fired oven. And so, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. But there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into that.
So a wood fire oven on wheels. It's
very cool.
Transportable or
Yeah. So it's not a food truck. Like it's not like a box truck. It's not just like a trailer. And so it opens up, through the front. And so we are wide open to the public when we make our pizzas. Everyone can see what we do, our process, and how we do it, and how we're talking to each other and the lingo that we use. So, it's pretty cool.
Very cool. So what makes the wood-fired oven superior to other methods?
Oh, well, I think it's all subjective, really. But I think the wood-fired obviously infuses that flavor, like you mentioned in the intro. And it kind of has a certain effect on the pizza and the dough that we use. So it's a science, It's
I got more of like a wood, like a smokier, wood, authentic flavor. It cooked fast. I remember he was cranking these pizzas out, and from my experience, my first impression as a customer, I went there and there was a big line. I'm thinking, oh, do I want to wait? I'm not sure. Like, is this going to be good? And I was surprised at how fast. I know the pizzas are more of a thin crust.
They are.
So it did help. I think that did help with the cooking process. But what would you say an average, time to cook one of them? Depending on the size, of course.
Honestly, it depends on who's cooking. So, like, my uncle used to love to crank the oven up to like 900 to 1,000 degrees. Like the thermometer that you would point at the back of the oven would just say hot. Like it wouldn't
it didn't
read
go
an
high
actual
enough.
temperature.
That's what happens when you point it at me too.
Right. So if I was on the oven, I'm like between 650, 700. It's a nice, easy tempo. It's manageable. And so there's a lot of variables that go into cooking with a wood fire. It's, is it windy? How cold is it? It also depends on, how long the oven has been heating for. So what we learned is that when you crank the oven as hot as you can in the morning, let it go for an hour, start it with some cedar wood, some softwood. And then once you keep adding it with like rock maple or ash, just keep feeding it, push it to the back, let those coals, develop. And then once they kind of break down, you spread those coals on the floor, and then you bring them all the way to the front, and then you brush those back and you keep adding new sticks of wood. And so that's kind of how you set your day.
Wow, there's a science behind it. I thought you just threw some wood in and called it good, but you got different types of wood in there, and you're on the waterfront, so it's pretty windy down there. So you got to take that into consideration. Yeah, but it sounds like there's a lot of prep work to get going right before the big lunch rush.
There is, yeah. There's a lot of stuff, and it also depends on what kind of wood you use. Like you don't want to use birch because that has it gives off a lot of residue. And so it's like sticky, and so it gives off a dirtier smoke. So it's not a clean smoke flavor. Yellow birch is different, but white birch is something you don't use. So there's all kinds of stuff like that too.
So you guys have to source this wood. You have a whole bunch of different types of wood you use. And so did you start? You started working there as an employee, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So bring us through that. How did that?
So I started their second year, so 2013 to 14, and I had been working a lot of different jobs. I was in and out of college, didn't really have a direction, didn't have a plan, so I just kind of inquired with them, if you guys need help, I'd like to learn and get on the team there, and so I finally did. And so I actually hadn't seen them for quite some time. We were family, but I hadn't seen or, talked to them for some time. So this was just kind of out of the blue, and they were back in the area because they had been away for a while. So, that's just kind of how it started, and it just kind of developed from there.
So did you start in like their busy season? Were you down there with the big concerts going on and just lines of people ready to eat food?
I think it was gaining traction. Yeah. But we started in, I think, April, and so it was bitter cold. Yeah. It was one of those years where it was just super cold and windy, and nobody really wanted to go out and stand for a pizza. But during the summertime, things really pick up, and you're slammed, especially Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
So you guys must have been around for the American Folk Festival that happens, right?
Yes, but. Okay, so we did it for 1 year, but
that was actually the first time I had your pizza.
Oh, really?
Pretty sure it was.
I think that was like the only year that we were there actually, because their other son had a wood-fired oven in Portland, and so this is where it started. Ryan Carey, he started Portland Pie on the Fly, and so they took our spot that we used throughout the summer season. So Ryan would take our spot, and then we just, get out of there and let them have that space for the Folk Fest.
So you did the Folk Festival. The food truck was on the waterfront a lot of times. That's like the main spot that I saw it on. Mm-hmm. Was there any other places that you would move the trailer and do other places, other events?
Yeah, all the time. From what I remember, at the very beginning, we did a lot more, but then, as the years progressed, we kind of figured out, maybe we should just kind of stay put and be there as much as we can to serve, because we got a really loyal fan base, right, and they just kind of expect you to be there.
That's kind of a dilemma there,
it is,
right? Like, do you go where maybe you could make some money doing this big event, or do you stay where your locals are going to come every day, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What are the hours? Are you still there? And what are the hours of operation with the food truck?
So yeah, we're still there. This year will be our 8th season there, and and so let's see, we've bounced around a lot with different ideas of when to open and what hours we should have. I know one year we did Wednesday through Saturday, like 11 to 7, but then we found that with the concerts we should stay open later, and so we would get hit, with the concert goers going in to the concert. And then we'd get slammed even more when the concert is out because they're, intoxicated and, looking for some food.
They got the munchies.
So they're a little bit more rowdy. It's a rowdy crowd. You got to be on your toes. And so we've done both. We've been there for the concerts and we've kind of gotten out before the second rush and, just kind of played around with it, with our hours.
All right. So we talked about how you got started. You started working as an employee, and you said it was a family business, right? So you're related to them. So bring us through the transition from employee to starting to run it.
So, like I said, I started in 2014, and it was seasonal. So I didn't really have, when I first started, I didn't really have like a long-term idea of what was going to happen. Because it was seasonal, but I stuck with it. So, I'd work for Pompeii and then I'd go find odd jobs through the winter, which, it was tough. Just trying to find different jobs that were opening or whatever. And so fast forward to 2018, I would say that hard work paid off. And, I was really invested into this company and I gave everything that I had to them. And, I guess it showed. And so I was approached by my uncle in 2018 in July. And we went through the purchasing process. And so we finalized everything in October. And so we officially became the new owners in October of 2018.
So is there more than one owner?
Yeah. So my mom is also a partner.
Okay. So family, I like how it stayed in the family, and it sounded like your uncle was just kind of maybe ready to get done or move on to something else or retire and pass it off. So I love to hear that. I'm a small family business myself, and Matt's a family man, and so that's great to hear. And that must have been quite the challenge for you to really take on something like that. And it sounds like things have been going fairly well.
Yeah, I actually have a background and degree in culinary. I spent some time in New York at the Culinary Institute of America, which I don't know if you guys are familiar. Yep. So I didn't graduate from there, but I had a really good experience there and met a lot of people, made some good connections. And so I brought that was in 2017. And I brought that back to Maine and continued to work for Pompeii that last year. And I finished my degree at Kennebec Valley Community College. And they had a farm-to-table program that I thought was really cool. So I finished there. And so that just kind of all fell into place all at the same time. I was finishing my degree. I have this new business. And so it kind of made sense in a way to, kind of zero in and own this. And really get started on this new journey with Pompeii.
Yeah. So you mentioned farm to table. So Pompeii Pizza, you do locally sourced ingredients for your pizzas. So could you just dive into that for a little bit?
Yeah. So we've been trying to work with different farmers and different farms and trying to build relationships with them. Unfortunately, sometimes it's difficult because different veggies and different products aren't out at the times that we're
they're seasonal.
So, it's Maine. It's all seasonal. Yep. So we work closely with Dennett's Food Paper, and they have a lot of great locally sourced products too. Regional, I would still consider, some people would say regional, New York, is considered local. Yeah. I would like to think so because I know where they're coming from and, I've talked to some of them and I know who they are and how they're doing their business. So, that's how we stay on top of that.
So that must give you some control over the quality of your ingredients, and from what I've experienced, your ingredients are definitely top quality. I mean, Dan and I were talking before you came in here. We were talking about our history with pizza. We My second job was actually working at a pizza restaurant. Shout out to Nick and Willie's Take and Bake Pizza. So this is it was a little restaurant where we would actually make pizzas for people to take with them and bake it in their home so they could have fresh pizza.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and then. During college, I was actually working at Papa John's, and then
I did too.
And then Dan, where were you working?
So my first job, first or second job? No, my first job was Evo's Italian Grill. It's an Italian restaurant, and they had the brick oven, and they made pizza in there. And I did a lot of eating. I didn't do a lot of making of the pizza. I was a dish boy.
Right.
But then I also worked at Mama Baldacci's Italian restaurant.
Oh, no way.
And I upgraded from dish boy to making pizza and doing prep, and I really enjoyed the process of making a pizza.
No kidding.
A pizza pie. It was. I like to say I can make a pretty good pie.
Yeah.
But Matt actually told me that he's actually tried pizza from all over the world.
Yeah. So I've had pizza in Chicago. I've had pizza in New York. I've had pizza in Boston. I've had pizza in Venice. I've had pizza in Rome.
Wow.
Yeah. So I consider myself to be a pizza connoisseur.
I would say so.
Right. Not just a fan, but a devotee. Right. So
we like pizza here at Box of Maine.
Yeah. But I do have to say that Pompeii Pizza is like right up there at the top. Like it's really, really good pizza. Yeah. Especially when you put that hot honey on it. Oh man.
I haven't had the hot honey.
Yeah. It's very good.
Might have to check it out. So the food truck's still there, seasonal though, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. You guys aren't going right at the moment, are you?
Probably not till our first event is in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people, if they're down in Bangor area, greater Bangor area, they want some real fine, authentic pizza, and they're on the waterfront, they can swing by there in April.
Yeah.
But they can also swing by somewhere else, right?
Yeah, it's, what is it, 98 Central Street?
98 Central Street, yeah. It's,
wow.
It's on the corner of Harlow and Central Street.
Great.
So that's a big move there, going from food truck to restaurant.
Yeah.
Because you're doing both still.
We will be, yeah. This will be our first year that we're doing both. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely some big challenges up ahead.
That was pretty recent, too. That was only in November, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've only been in business for 6 to 8 months, and then we decided to make the leap. Definitely a risk, but a well-calculated risk. And so, it's definitely tough also, going into the winter months. You never know what it could be, but I think people know our product and they know us and they know who we are, and so we've survived.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're already coming into it already a little bit established. People know your product, and having that permanent location, I think is going to be very important for you guys in the future.
Yeah, it's definitely an anchor, so we can do more of our prep and we can kind of get more creative with this spot and do some more things, add some things.
Sure. So what are like some of the challenges that you're facing with going from maybe that smaller operation of the food truck, or the food trailer, I should say, to the brick and mortar?
Some challenges.
Yeah.
Well, I would say the biggest challenge that we had was so the building that we went into is a historical building.
Yeah.
So that has big limitations on what we can do. And so unfortunately it's not wood-fired pizza, and that, was kind of a bummer for me and for everybody else who's, experienced Pompeii. It's always been wood-fired.
Yeah.
But so I had to do a lot of digging, a lot of research, and I got an oven that so on top, I'll back up. So on top of not being able to do wood-fired, we also could not do gas. So gas would have been our second best option.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we couldn't do gas. And so then what was left was electric.
That's got to be hard.
I had no idea how limited, what you can get for an electric oven that is high powered.
Yeah.
Usually the regular electric oven can maybe reach 575, 600 maybe.
Yeah.
And so I sourced an oven out of Switzerland, believe it or not.
Wow.
And it's a brick oven, and it can reach temperatures up to 930 degrees. So
is the high temperature key here? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. And just the efficiency in how it bakes too. Every stone is different. Every oven is different, but this one is seriously like one of the best ovens that I've ever used, and I'm happy to have it. So it's a Pizza Master oven, and we're so excited to have it, and it's been really good for us.
Wow, an electric. That's like, that just reminds me of like a kiln. Like that's the type of power that you're talking about here. It's not just must take a while for it to actually get up to temperature too, right?
Honestly, It doesn't actually.
Oh, wow.
It takes maybe like 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's actually faster than the wood.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And it's in such an even temp the whole time. And the biggest challenge with that as well was that we were only zoned for a single phase. And so this oven requires a three phase.
Yeah.
And so that was a whole deal with, Amara and our own electrician and finding the right team to, help this, to move forward. Because there's, a few points where we're like, oh man, what are we going to do? I thought I had it, I was so close. And, we also came really close to not being able to do it. So thank you, Pizza Master.
Yeah.
So definitely some big challenges right off the bat. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like maybe things are smoothing out a little bit. And are you guys are all, how many, well, one thing I want to know before I jump into like your hours of operation and things running is that thing cranking out pizza? How many pizzas can it make? Do you put, can you fit quite a few in there at once? Or is it one at a time?
No, so it's 2 decks. So it's two levels. And we're doing large pizzas, which are 14-inch, and we're doing our 10-inch pizza that we're known for. And on top of that, we're doing breadsticks, and, we're trying to add, like baked sandwiches and stuff like that too. Not yet, but we will be. So yeah, you can get probably like 3 or 4 large pizzas on one deck, and then you got the other deck for 10-inch pizzas, and so you're just wheeling and dealing, and it's for me, it's a good feeling to have that, to be able to do that and to give that to people,
Yeah. So they can come in, they can get warm, and they can get, still, sounds like it's still a quality pizza. I haven't been to the restaurant yet, but I definitely plan on coming over and trying it. So how's that? So would the food trailer still be on the waterfront?
It will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
same spot.
Yeah.
Same spot we've always been in. So we're not leaving anytime soon.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So describe to us what a day at Pompeii Pizza looks like. So you walk in the door and you turn the lights on. What do you do?
So I'm lucky to have a couple of guys that have keys, and I'm not the best morning person in the world. So
Dan knows the feeling. Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So I have one guy that travels all the way from Madison to work for me.
Wow.
And
dedicated.
He's very dedicated. He's loyal. I actually took him from one of my culinary programs that I was in, and so they open up at 10 o'clock. I feel like most pizzerias open up probably like 7, like 6 or 7.
Yep.
So I feel like we've really nailed down our process, and we're able to just really dial in and know what needs to be done. And so part of that is that we par bake our dough, which is something that's very unique.
Explain that to me, because I've heard of that term before, but...
So par baking is basically just pre-cooking the dough. So you roll your dough out, and then you toss it into the oven for maybe a minute at the most until it just starts to brown, and it hardens up, transforms from a raw dough to a more cooked dough. And then, once it cools off, we stack them up, and that's our campus that we use.
How do you know how many to par bake? You have like a set number? You kind of looking at trends and days of the week?
Trends
type of deal.
Trends, yeah, definitely for sure. Looking back at previous weeks and what special offers we're doing and deals that we're doing, what's working, what's not working. So we're still figuring it out, but I think we have a better idea now than we did when we first started.
Yeah.
And so we've done some tweaking, and I think it's been successful so far.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want our listeners to hear is that everything isn't magical and working out perfectly when you own a business. There are hurdles. You face some big ones right up front.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to have more that come down the line, but it's just stepping back, working with your team, and getting through it together, and just tweaking things, trial and error. I think that's the case for a lot of things in life.
Yeah, definitely communication with your employees is huge. Just getting their ideas and their thoughts and how they feel, and don't want to burn them out too. So just being open and just keep working.
So you got some good employees in there. You get in there. You're open at 10 o'clock in the morning. They're par baking some doughs, or what are they? They chopping up the veggies and everything. They're getting everything all prepped and ready to go.
Yeah.
And what do you get? Do you get a little bit of a lunchtime push?
We do, yeah. January was slow. That's just notorious
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of slow for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. People spent all their money on holidays and whatnot. So, so far we've been picking up, and we're busy. It's almost reflecting the waterfront. The waterfront is a totally different animal. It's a beast. And now we've got, not to change subjects, but the food truck, it just kind of hits. It just kind of hits you right in the face, right in the chin. And so you just got to hold on and hope you're prepared. And the trailer is only so big, so it can only hold so much.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. And like you said, it opens right up. So I saw somebody chopping up the veggies. I saw the pizzas being made. Yeah. And I think we kind of live in a generation now where, you want to be able to see your food being made. I guess it just adds a little extra to it. What's going on it.
Yeah.
And I could see the whole thing, the whole process right there. You got people staring at you while you're making it, right?
Yeah, you get used to it.
Do you?
Yeah. You got people trying to talk to you as you're cutting the pizzas, and you're trying to talk to the people in behind you, and it's chaos.
You're like, come on, man, I got 30 pizza orders here. Don't talk to me right now.
Oh man, it's chaos. But
I noticed that it was limited on your different types of pizza at the food truck. Now, is that the case at the restaurant too? Have you gone and whipped up some new types of pizzas and gourmet and different toppings? How has the menu changed?
So we do a limited menu on concert nights. That's just to help us. We can't, especially for that second rush when people get out of the concerts, they're just like, they're on a different kind of level than they were when they went in.
Yeah.
So, we just try to make it easier for everybody and for all of our patients and whatnot. It's really not that big of a deal, but there's just a select few.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, we definitely, we've added some stuff. Like we have the honeybee, which is new. That wasn't previous.
What's on the honeybee?
So honeybee it's just a pepperoni, but it has the hot honey sauce.
I gotta get this hot honey sauce. You keep talking about this
stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's my favorite. I'm happy that I stumbled upon it and started using it.
Yeah.
I had no idea it would be this big, but it's probably like our number 1 or 2 seller right now.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are some of the more what are some other unique toppings that you put on your pizzas?
So the Pompeii. Yeah. That's our signature pizza. It's caramelized onions, tomatoes, rainbow peppers, and shredded cheese. We cook that, and then when it comes out, we top it with raw arugula, Asiago cheese, and that melts with the residual heat.
Yeah.
It melts the cheese a little bit more, and then we have the balsamic glaze, and that's the killer.
That sounds balsamic so glaze. Good. Yeah.
Man, I should have known it was going to be dangerous bringing you on the show.
I know, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. Telling me, man, I can't keep the weight off.
I feel like... Yeah, that was one of the benefits, if I remember correctly, working at the pizza restaurants, is you gotta try it once in a while. You gotta make yourself a little pizza.
Yeah.
Well, when I was working at Papa John's, I was a college student, so it was like, free pizza.
Yeah, and that's what we do for our guys too. They get a free pizza and stuff every shift. So
that's great.
So they can kind of get creative too if they want to.
Yeah, I'm glad that you take care of your employees and people want an environment that they enjoy coming to. I think that will help boost morale. They want to work harder, work longer, and that you're just you're aware of how much they're working.
Yeah,
and so you got them coming in. You get ready for the big lunch rush.
Yeah,
and then I'm sure you get a break in there somewhere where you kind of got to restock stuff. You got to clean up the restaurant.
Yeah,
and then bam, you get hit with the second run again, right?
Yeah, so that's basically how you just broke it down. That's basically how it goes. You got the morning guys that come in and get things ready, and then you get hit, then you got to reset again, and you get hit again, and then you
clean,
and get ready for the next day.
Yeah,
so that's life of a pizza guy.
Yeah,
or a girl.
Yeah, and so what's one of the ways you've gotten your guys' name out there, the Pompeii Pizza? I see you all over the place. Like I said, we've talked about it. You guys have really made a good name for yourself just by getting out there, working hard, quality product, great customer service.
Thank you.
How do you grow from here? How do you tell more people about Pompeii Pizza? I mean, you have the restaurant location now. That's obviously going to be a pretty big hit. When people drive by, they're going to see it. Where the waterfront, you kind of have to be down there to really know that it's down there. I guess you could look it up.
Yeah.
But what are some ways that you've looked to try to grow the business and the brand, the Pompeii Pizza name?
Yeah, I mean, I think some things that we've changed is just being more present on social media, just being more consistent.
Sales and specials and things like that.
Yeah, just trying to be creative and just have fun with it, honestly. I'm still 28, so I kind of have some sort of idea of what the younger kids might want. Sure. So I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes and to see what would be enticing to them. And so we did do a rebrand. That was one thing that we did.
Okay, talk to us about that.
So the original owners had their logo, and I like their logo still. I really do like it. It was more of a classic kind of a look.
Yep.
And so my idea, the team that I got with me did a really good job on. You can see the logo there. It's just more of I guess you say like a fun, softer look, and our colors are changing. We got this kind of like gold and gold black and red, and we got the pizza slice with the fist and kind of like fist bumping with the pizza, and it's just something a little bit different and fun that I thought might make it interesting.
Yeah, so that's good. They've done some rebranding, maybe try to target a different market, a larger market. Yeah. So I like that. I think that's a great way to kind of build your brand, get your name out there a little bit more. Yeah. Doing any local events or shows? Have you done any trade shows or food shows around town?
Man, I can't even count how many we've done. We've done a lot. We do a lot of the local ones. So there's like the Beats and Eats, and we've gone all the way down to the Blues Fest. We did Sugarloaf Reggae Fest last year. That was crazy. And then, we're trying to stay more local this year, though. It's just easier on us and on the whole logistics of moving around. And
sure, and that probably draws people into the brick and mortar restaurant, when you're doing it more local.
Yeah. So our first event this year is going to be for the Bangor Toy and Comic Con, which is supposed to be pretty big this year.
Very cool.
So we're excited to be there and come grab pizza there, whether you're at the event or not at the event. So
I actually have a connection with the Bangor Toy and Comic Con. I did it a few years as my old business, mainly gaming. I did it for, I think, 3 years that they had it, and it was a very, very big event.
Yeah.
So I got to shout out those guys. Yeah. I know a lot of the guys over there running that. Shout out Will and Jay. Yep. Great guys. And so I want to say that's in April.
Yeah, April 24th to the 26th.
April 24th through the 26th. It's a family thing. Yeah. So you come out as a family, bring the kids. Mm-hmm. There's actors there's voiceover artists, there's tons of local artists and vendors.
Yeah,
so that's
super excited.
Yeah, that's
super
a great
excited.
show. And it's right down at the Cross Insurance Center, right down downtown Bangor.
Yeah, and so we also do like small parties, weddings and wedding receptions, and the big obstacle there is that we still only have the one mobile unit. And so as much as we want to do every single inquiry, I so wish that we could. And, anybody who's listening that is a fan of Pompeii, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we haven't maybe been able to do one of your events.
Yeah.
There's only so many people.
So on that note, in the future, are you going to have a whole fleet of these mobile pizza ovens?
That's the dream. That's the goal. That's a big aspiration of mine.
Yeah. And I'm going to touch on that real quick because I think that can be a good and a bad thing because, you just jumped into this restaurant business. You got a lot more expenses, overhead, employees. Yeah. And I can see that being something that is, weighs a little bit heavier as a business owner. You want to make sure that baby is fine-tuned. Yeah. Things are running. That oven's cranking out pizzas. Your customers are getting it when they need to. They're satisfied. Yeah. But I could definitely see the temptation to want to get a couple more trucks on the road.
Yeah.
But I would just encourage you to take your time, right? One step at a time. Don't go too fast, right?
Yeah.
Like it just happens with anybody. They can move a little bit too fast. And next thing you know, so go slow.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of having another food truck so that you can keep one local and then you can have another one going around doing the events.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a future. So yeah, like you said, down the road, something in the future for sure, something to push forward to. It's good to have goals.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. It's just a constant itch. You know, you just want to be there.
Yeah, that's that entrepreneurial spirit. You know, like you're always creating and always trying to go to that next step. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are some of your goals? I mean, obviously that's one of them. You probably want to have a couple more trucks out there, and I mean, I'm sure you've already reached one of your goals is to own a restaurant.
Yeah. That was huge.
That's a big goal.
Yeah. You know, we had searched high and low. Actually, we really wanted a spot in Old Town.
All right. Shout out Old Town.
Yeah. Shout out to Old Town. They were really nice to work with. And unfortunately, it didn't work out right across from the high school here. So, you know, then that was probably our best bet was down here in Old Town or up here in Old Town. And it just didn't work out. So then we're like, all right, well, I guess, you know, I'll find another odd job until next season and, you know, just wait it out. Just do what I've been doing.
Yep.
And so then we had an opportunity present itself to us through Rudman Winchell. I just happened to see a Facebook post and I was the first one to jump on it and went in and saw it and I fell in love with it. You know, it wasn't exactly what we wanted because we knew we couldn't have wood fired, but I was determined to figure it out and find a way. And, you know, the price point was right there where we need to be to make that next level, but not, you know, really consume all expenses. So
that's it right there. And that's the same thing with me. You know, I would love to have a bigger facility to operate Bangor Maine out of.
Yeah.
But all the same things that you just said.
Yeah.
You know, this is the next step for me.
Yeah.
I started in my basement, went to a shared office building, and now I have my own small commercial property. Maybe someday I'll have a big warehouse and a retail, you know what I mean? But again, patience, one step at a time, guys. If you're listening, you're thinking about starting a business, or maybe you are a small business owner and you want to get to that next step, you got to do it. It's got to be the right timing. Price has got to be right. Like you said, price.
Absolutely.
So, awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of pizza places in the greater Bangor area.
Yeah.
We've talked about some differences already, but what would you say that sets you guys apart from some of the other pizza joints around town?
I can only, you know, some things I can only speak for myself, but, you know, for the product, it's a thin and crispy product, which I don't think, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't have, you know, the process that we have. And that creates that kind of thin and crispy, crunchy with a lot of toppings, and it still holds up on the crust and all that kind of stuff. I feel like our price points are, you know, pretty, you know, reasonable. You know, we really want to try and cater to the younger families or to the families and to the college kids that, you know, are around, that they can afford, you know, some of our pizzas and meal deals and stuff. So, you know, I just think the quality and how much we care, really shows into what we do.
And I agree. I definitely agree with you. Yep. And so I thought I read that you guys are partnered up with Grubhub for delivery.
Yeah.
So people can, if they're not able to get down to the downtown location, maybe they're on the other side of Bangor or some of the other surrounding cities.
Yeah.
They can go through Grubhub and order Pompeii Pizza.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they'll come and pick it up.
I would advise not to go through Grubhub to pick up. Just call us. There is a little bit of a price difference there, just because, you know, it's just how, you know, we're using their marketing and that's how they look at it. So they take, you know, a percentage.
Sure.
So it is a little bit more expensive through Grubhub, but, you know, we're happy to, you know, take any phone calls, of course.
Sure.
But yeah, delivery is definitely there for them.
So you talked a little bit about social media. What social media sites are you guys on?
So right now we're just on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
That's probably the two biggest ones that I can control with my time right now. You know, a lot of my employees are like, why don't you have a Twitter? It's like, well, you know, I don't even know what to do with Twitter.
Yeah, me either.
So
don't waste your time with Twitter.
Yeah. No,
I bet Instagram is probably pretty good for you guys because you get some like really good shots of that delicious pizza, you know. I bet, you know, hungry people out there are liking those photos.
Yeah. So we've got some really some nice photos that are coming out. We're having a new website done for us, and so shout out to WanderWeb and the Story CeeLo. They've got some really they captured some good pictures for for us and for our product and for our restaurant.
Very
that
cool.
should be coming out soon.
Very cool. So are you going to have the ability for your customers to be able to order online? That's a pretty common thing.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like we originally were trying to do that last summer, and it just didn't work out for whatever reason. There were many reasons, but it just didn't have the right kind of like software. I'm not technically inclined. So, but yeah, we got a good group behind us now, and online ordering will be the next step. And hopefully, there's a lot of risk in that too.
But it's another goal. It's another thing that you're working towards. You're finding, you're fine tuning it. Mm-hmm. And I do agree. I think that that's kind of where we're going with a lot of the restaurants, the restaurant industry, is we want to be able to order it from the comfort of our home or in the car, whatever.
Yeah. And
just go and pick it up. Now, I'm not saying I'm a firm believer of sitting down as a family,
sure,
going out to eat as a family. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like that's an option as well. So you have some decent seating there. Yeah.
So we have most of our seating is upstairs, but we do have some, we have like a bar kind of set up at the front and with some stools. And so we can seat about 40 people upstairs. And so we've just gotten approved to have the basement of our building that we're in. And so, the next kind of small goal is to kind of push our kitchen down into the basement. And then on the first level that we're on now, create that into a bar.
Very cool.
And so that's the next smaller vision.
That's great. So, what's your website?
What's our website?
Yeah.
It's Pompeiipizza.biz.
All right. And that's Pompeii.biz.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your Facebook is
Pompeii Pizza Maine.
And Instagram, people can find you
at Pompeii Pizza Me.
So thank you for listening to the Made in Maine podcast. We're here with Will from Pompeii Pizza, and he brought us 2 gift certificates, and they're good for a free 10-inch pizza. They also are going to have a couple enjoy 10% off your next order at Pompeii Pizza. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to head over to Pompeii Pizza Maine, their Facebook page, their Instagram. Go ahead and give them a like, a follow, and also head over to the Made in Maine podcast, where we're going to be posting this episode, and comment down below on what your favorite pizza from Pompeii Pizza is. If you enjoyed this episode of the Made in Maine podcast, then please consider supporting us through Patreon. Patreon is a great way for our listeners to support the podcast by donating a couple bucks to us for each episode that we put out. The podcast has not been free to produce, from the equipment that we need to record these episodes to the fees that we pay to host the podcast. It does cost us some money, and any amount of support that you can give would be greatly appreciated. Right now, there are 3 tiers that you can choose from, and some of the donor tiers come along with some benefits. So head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/madeinmainepodcast to learn more. You can also help us put Maine on the map by sharing episodes on social media sites like Facebook or Instagram, anywhere that you think someone would be interested in our content. Another way you can support us by leaving us a review on the podcast app that you are listening on, and we may even choose your review to share it on the next episode. You can find us on Made in Maine Podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/madeinmainepodcast. You can also find each episode on the podcast platforms like Podbean, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and now on YouTube as Made in Maine Podcast. Thank you for listening and helping us put Maine on the map.